the earlier members were only Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Later on, South Africa was added. This group Good afternoon, everyone. Are you interested in expansion of BRICS? Do you know that what is the meaning of expansion of BRICS for India? How does it impact the world politics? Today we will talk about the expansion of BRICS and the changing geopolitics in the world. I am Dr. BIJENDRA. I teach political science and international relations optional paper at Plutus IAS. Let me tell you about the new expansion of BRICS. And if you know that few states have joined BRICS, let's see what are the states who joined BRICS, right? So there are few states like Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, have formally joined BRICS. Membership will be in force from January 1, 2024. Earlier, when the group was formed in 2009, only there was a member of Brazil, Russia, India, China in 2009. One year later, South Africa was added into the group. Now, expansion has been already done. What's the meaning for the US? What is the meaning for India? What is the meaning for the China of the expansion of the BRICS country? Now let's see, the earlier members. The earlier members were only Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Later on, South Africa was added. This group is a leading economist, world largest economy in the world. And this word was coined by the O'Neill in 2001 in the Goldman Sachs report. And formally the group was organized in 2009, right? And this group constitute, if you look at the basic facts about the group, now this group comprise 41% of the world population. Now with the expansion of the new countries, right, the 50% of world population resides in the BRICS countries. Now if you look at these countries have more than 26% of the world GDP. Now if you look at the shares, more than 18% of the world GDP. And if you look at BRICS countries have main engine of the world economic growth, right, over the period. And if you look at over the period, BRICS countries have also come together to resolve many common issues. Now Prime Minister Modi has given few theme to the BRICS countries, right? And today we will talk about all these points. And if you look at the group, it was formed in 2009, right? And if you look at, this was the first in-person meeting since 2019 in Johannesburg, right, where the 6 members had been added into the BRICS, right? And if you look at, the decision was favor of expansion after the 13 years, because last time in 2010 the membership was given to the South Africa. Now if you look at the more than 20 countries are willing to join BRICS group. Why is it so? Because of the region. These are the countries who are developing very fast. If you look at China, it is the second largest economy in the world. If you look at India, it is also one of the fastest growing economy in the world. If you look at Brazil, same. If you look at South Africa, it is also one of the fastest growing economy in the world. So if you look at the expansion of the BRICS, right, it has created many issues, right? Especially when the countries of the global south has joined it. Now what does it mean to the West, especially to the US, to the UK and European Union? What does it mean to the Group 7, which is the first world, the economic bloc for the first world, right? So look at the historical background of the BRICS. The term was coined by the Goldman Sachs, the chief economist, in 2001, and formally it was formed in 2009, and in 2010 South Africa has joined this group. Now, basic fact, I have already talked about this. Now, if you look at the basic, cooperation in the group. Now, if you look at the basic, there are three pillars of the BRICS. One is the political and security cooperation. So basically, to enhance economic and security cooperation and dialogue on global issues, right? These countries meet and resolve the common issue, right? So if you look at they give priority on multilateral system. What do you mean by multilateral system? It means, everything is decision taken on the consensus, right? And by the agreement of all countries. And secondly, it talks about the counter-terrorism cooperation. So first pillar of the BRICS country is, the political and security cooperation and coordination. Second is financial and economic cooperation. If you look at these countries are one of the fastest growing economies of the world, right? The China is growing more fast than ever before. And it has, produced not only opportunity, but also challenge for the US and UK and the first world. Now, if you look at the BRICS countries, they are to promote economic growth and development for the mutual prosperity through the expansion of market, through the expansion of, trade, agriculture, right? Transfer of technology and so on and so forth, right? Now, the third is recognizing the advantages of using technology and digital solutions for the countries and achieving sustainable development goal, which is a prime agenda for the global south. And if you look at, the BRICS as a, economic bloc, it has evolved as, anti-US, anti-Western domination in world politics. And it believed in multipolarity rather than the US preferences, which is talked about, the unipolar world. Now, if you look at, they cooperate on different agenda, for example, for disaster management, for innovation, for health, for education, and so on and so forth. And the third pillar is the cultural and people-to-people exchange. The BRICS countries are promoting people-to-people exchange, right? So to know each other better, right? They try to make a university, right? They try to invest, in technology, in development, and so on and so forth. Now, if you look at the recent summit that was held in Johannesburg, South Africa, where if you look at the key agenda was, developing a partnership towards an equitable, just transition. This was the first prime agenda of the BRICS countries. Now, if you look at the second, agenda, it was transforming education and skills, right, for the future. Third was unlocking opportunities through the African countries, through free trade area. Fourth was strengthening post-pandemic socio-economic recovery. We know that pandemic had impacted the world, right, for different regions, right, and poses challenges on several accounts. So they talked about the strengthening the post-pandemic socio-economic recovery and attainment of the 2030 agenda that is called Sustainable Development Agenda. Now, it also talked about how to strengthen the multilateralism, right? And it rejects unilateralism. It rejects plurilateralism. It supports multilateralism. Now, if you look at the key priority of India, that is very, very important for the, if you look at key priority for India. India offered, Indian digital public infrastructure, right, for the BRICS countries. And if you look at the Prime Minister proposed skill mapping, skill promotion of mobility among the BRICS countries. And if you look at India also calls upon the BRICS partner to support the European Union as a permanent member for the BRICS growth. Now, if you look at India, also said that BRICS countries must think of a space explorations cooperation consortium, right? And PM holds separate meeting with the South Africa, and India also called for that BRICS should be the voice of the global South. Now the BRICS has been already expanded. Now let me tell you, what does it mean for the US? What does it mean for the India? What does it mean for the China? And what does it mean for the other global South? Right now, India has developed good relationship with UAE, and we have free trade agreement last year with UAE. Now we have tried to have trade in rupees rather than dollar, right? If you look at Iran has position, right? And US is against Iran. What does it mean inclusion of Iran in BRICS group? It means, giving challenge to the US domination, right? And the unipolar world politics. Now, if you look at the China recently has developed good relations with UAE, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Now, if you look at China and Russia, both stands against the US domination, right? And domination of the G7 countries, right? So this is also mean something different to the US, right? It talks about simply that it is a anti-US, anti-UK, anti-G7 group domination, right? Now, what is the meaning for India and what is the meaning for the countries like Latin America or the countries like Ethiopia, like countries like the Middle East group like Egypt, who had been included in the group? Can we call it as a second Bandung Conference? Bandung Conference is very important in order to understand the cooperation among the global South. In 1955, that was the genesis of the rise of non-alignment movement. Can we, make some analogy between Johannesburg, right, 15th BRICS Summit and the Bandung Conference held in 1955, right? If you see not only the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but also the leader of the South, like the President of the South Africa, who talked about, the BRICS should be the voice of the global South. India agreed with it, and can we say that it is a new alignment, right? New grouping to oppose the dominance of the US, UK, or G7, right? Group 7 domination in world politics, right? So it has different meaning for different countries, but it is a very efficient and very effective expansion of the BRICS countries, and it will have different impact in world politics. Now, G20 summit is going to be held in India recently, and of course, now if you look at in G20, India is trying to push the agenda of the global South. Now it has connection with the BRICS summit and then expansion of the BRICS, right? So there is a new challenges and new opportunities in the global politics, right? And not recently now, but in the next few years, in the pretext of the Russia-Ukraine war, right? And in the post-pandemic world, which is struggling still for the recovering economy, and the world is facing three problems: food, fertilizer, and fuel, right? That there is a global price rise that impacting the third world countries. Now, in this context, the expansion of BRICS has its own importance, right? This is for today. We'll see you next day. Thank you so much. See you.